Reggie, some Bibles in chapter 1, verse 1 of Ephesians note that the words in Ephesus don't appear in all the manuscripts. And what I was wondering is, how does this affect our confidence in the first place that it really was written to them? And I guess another question that would fall under that is, how does that affect our interpretation, if that is an issue?
And that's a great question, Larry. And it's a good chance to go back and just try to crystallize one of the points we tried to make in the lesson. Because in the lesson, we did note that in some of the manuscripts, some of the very early manuscripts, the in Ephesus isn't in there. And it's also clear that Paul is writing in part to people that he didn't know. And it struck a lot of scholars as being odd that Paul, who had been in Ephesus for 3 years, writes to people as though he didn't know them. And that's one of the reasons that some scholars speculate that maybe Paul didn't write it. But one of the things that we talked about in the lesson was the likelihood that Paul did write the letter primarily to Ephesus, because Ephesus was the sort of the mother church of a bunch of churches that got started in the surrounding Lycus Valley, and Colossae was one of those, and the church at Laodicea would have been one of those, and it looks like there was one in Hierapolis, and those churches were just a few miles from each other. So the likelihood is that the letter circulated beyond Ephesus, and Paul intended it to circulate beyond Ephesus, and it would have been natural for the in Ephesus to have been dropped in the copies of the letters that circulated beyond Ephesus, even though it was applying to those churches as well.